This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.
Happy spring, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the LCTV News. Stay tuned to learn more about the various celebrations around the city and upcoming summer series, rounded off by 2 Lowdowns, focused on High Rock Tower and a fundraising 5K. So let's get to it with the news for Friday, May 9th, 2025. Lynn Tech is honoring Richard Arthur Beckett posthumous with the renaming of the machine shop in his honor. The dedication of the Richard Arthur Beckett Machining Center will take place on May 12th at 6 p.m. in the cafeteria at the Lynn Vocational Technical Institute and was organized by the Lynn Tech Alumni Association. Beckett, who passed away unexpectedly on May 1st, 2021, was a 1955 Lynn Trade Machine Shop graduate and lifelong supporter of the trades. He became an expert machinist and founded the American Mechanic Machine Shop, where he focused on repairing industrial components with minor defects. But even more significant, Beckett remained connected to his alma mater for his entire life. He mentored Lynn Tech students and hired them to work in his shop. He coordinated with state lawmakers and organized trips for students, parents, and local officials to tour various vocational schools. When the machine shop at Tech was closed in 2009, Beckett approached former teacher Mike Pickering and several other business leaders. Together, they successfully lobbied the school committee to reopen the shop and were instrumental in securing $3 million worth of equipment grants and support from the GE Foundation. With this funding, the shop was fully remodeled into a state-of-the-art facility. His work lives on in all the students he mentored, and now his name will forever be etched in Lynn Tech history. Last Thursday night, May 1st, the community was invited to put on their dancing shoes and join the Millennium Latino Project for a bachata night. Keeping with the MLP theme of networking with a purpose, this event doubled as a diaper drive, benefiting 3 other organizations in the community.
Hi, I'm Edwin Rosales. I'm co-founder of Millennium Latino Project. So we're building a community, a network of professionals, entrepreneurs, small business owners, or anybody who just wants to be a part of something. We're creating moments for connection and just trying to give back to the community. We're finding creative ways to do it. Like tonight, we're hosting a diaper drive, but it's a bachata lesson class where Mariel from CLDA is going to lead us in a brief lesson, but then the entrance fee is diapers, so we're going to benefit NAM, Center Board, and Mamás Unidas. And just wanted to mention that tonight we are also collaborating with Incubate. They've helped us organize this. The idea just stemmed from we want to network with purpose. So we're finding organizations, nonprofits in the community that we can support, where we're creating the opportunities to connect with other people, but then there's a purpose behind it. We're always thinking of ways to come up with intentional events where we're networking, but there's a purpose behind it. So if there's something that you're really passionate about and you want to collaborate with us, we're open to it. Just find us on Instagram, Millennium Latino Project. We've hosted things like park cleanup. We intentionally invited small business owners, entrepreneurs, just to come connect, but also clean a park. We've hosted coat drives, and yeah, so things like that. So that's kind of like where it stems from. So me and Stephanie, who is the co-founder, we're from Lynn, so we realized, we expect a lot from our community, from in our businesses, but then how can we also give back?
May 1st was also May Day, and oh, sorry, I spelled something wrong, it's my fault. May 1st was also May Day and was marked with the annual march from the Lynn Common Grandstand to GE Electric. Workers' rights are a consistent topic, but the rest vary from year to year, depending on what is happening in the broader community. This time, participants could be seen holding signs highlighting tenant rights and democracy.
Welcome to May Day. Fight for our future.
Our rally and march is several different things. We're out here supporting workers' rights, immigrants' rights. We're against the mass deportations. We're against the mass layoffs of federal workers. And we're in favor of fighting to preserve our democracy.
May Day is not just a celebration. It is a call to action. It is a day when we stand up for workers' rights, immigrant rights, affordable housing, and the fundamental dignity of every individual in our community.
Lynn is a city of immigrants, always, and we must stand with each other.
In 1886, capitalism was growing in the United States. Workers, including children, were working 12-hour days, even 18-hour days, in unsafe jobs. These workers were mostly immigrants. Immigrants were the heart of the union movement. The unions began a strike, walking off the jobs on May 1st. Since 1886, May Day has been celebrated around the world as we commemorate our martyrs and fight our own struggles today.
Desde Lynn hasta Boston, hasta California y hasta Palestina, la vivienda es un derecho humano. Cuando las uniones de inquilinos de Lynn, unidos por el cambio, se enfrentan a un propietario como ese, sabemos qué hacer, mantenernos unidos y luchar.
We pledge to fight for workers. We pledge to fight for immigrants.
Right now, we have an opportunity to lift the ban on rent control and give cities like Lynn a choice in stabilizing rents and to protect Black and brown working class communities from being priced out.
We're also directly supporting the IUE Local 201, which is the union that represents workers at the GE factory in Lynn. They're currently undergoing their contract negotiations, so after our rally, we're going to march down to the factory outside the gates and show our support.
On May 7th, Brian Rivera, 36 of Lynn, was arraigned in Salem Superior Court for the murder of Eric Hines of Lynn, who was 35 at the time of his death. According to the prosecution, Rivera allegedly shot Hines just before 11:30 p.m. on the night of April 10th in the area of 33 High Street. Lynn police arrived at the scene to find Hines unresponsive and suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. Hines received treatment in the field and was transported to Salem Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. In addition to murder, Rivera faces a litany of other charges, including carrying a loaded firearm without a license, receiving an untraceable firearm, and a firearm violation due to a previous violent offense. He was ordered held without bail. If you're a teen in 6th through 12th grade, this is the announcement for you. Centro Teen Center is launching a free 6-week after-school program. Begun on May 8th and running through June 12th, teens will be divided into 2 groups. 6th through 8th graders will meet from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. on Tuesdays, and 9th to 12th graders on Thursdays from 3:30 to 6:30. These groups offer spaces to connect with friends, build life skills, and receive academic support. Participants can engage in games with peers, head to a dedicated academic space to work on school projects, express themselves through art, or engage in interactive discussions and lessons. All groups will take place at El Centro's location, 85 Monroe Street. Space is limited, so sign up today. The Khmer Center once again took over the Lynn Common last weekend for the annual Khmer New Year celebration. The community came out to witness traditional dances, performances, and food. In an event that always makes for a special afternoon, take a look.
Thank you very much for joining us this year, the 2025 Khmer New Year Festival, hosted by our organization, Khmer Center Inc. We are thankful for all our guests today. Today is a special day. We're here to showcase our culture, our food, performances, music, everything from younger generation to older generation. So this festival is to resemble and show the strength and resilience of the Cambodian community here in Lynn, surrounding areas. We have history today by getting 50 monks from all over Massachusetts, have never done before ever. So we're very thankful for our temple committee, the rest of the team members, and of course LCTV as well.
First of all, we started from a very small place at the Lynn Temple, like over 20 years ago. And then we went to different places. So we started here, actually, this is our 17th years. It's a year of snake, actually. So Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, Burma, to celebrate this pretty much the same day. So the New Year actually started on the 13th of April, lasts for 3 days, 13, 14, 15. So in Cambodia and Thailand, so they celebrate those days.
What a great day to celebrate it. I'd like to thank the committee that's in charge of planning this event. You do amazing work.
Friends of Lynn and Nahant Beach are launching their 2025 summer season with a beach cleanup on Saturday, May 17th from 9 to 11 a.m. at Red Rock Park. Volunteers will be provided with trash bags, gloves, and litter poles, along with free coffee, donuts, and friend swag for their help. Sponsored by Pickup Massachusetts, the DCR, and Friends of Lynn and Nahant Beach, members of the community are invited to help clean up the park and Kings Beach headed into the warm weather season. This cleanup will cover a large area, as volunteers can choose to stay in the park or venture down around the rocks and sand of the beach. Raw Artworks lit up Central Square the night of the 3rd for their 26th annual bash. This is their largest fundraiser of the year, combining a silent auction with a night of dancing and socializing. But I will let them tell you more.
Today we are really excited about another bash celebration. This year marks, we believe, is the 26th year of the event. So this event has been going on strong every year and is our main fundraiser. That means that is the event that we use to invite everyone to support the organization and the mission of the work that we do at Raw Arts in Lynn with our youth. So this year we're trying something a little bit different just to spice things up with the event and continue inviting even more people to support the organization. So this year we have a VIP session, and that is where we're going to have our live auction. And that auction features art from our alumni artists, from local artists that are guests to the event, and they donate their pieces of art to support the organization. And we're also going to honor a couple that has been instrumental in terms of supporting our organization and many other organizations in Essex County, and that is Molly and John Barnes. And then the second part is the party, of course. We always feature that as the highlight of the event, and it's called Party with a Purpose. And for that, we are transitioning from the VIP with, of course, a celebration of our work with a parade and a lot of music and dancers and creativity. And then we party and support the silent auction that is going to go on throughout the night. And we close it at 10 with, the announcement of, the fundraiser, how much we've made for the night, and all of the pieces of art will go to their individual owners that purchased the art this evening. And this year we added a few other highlights. We have an MC, auctioneer. He came from New York. His name is Jamar, and he's also a comedian. So we're expecting a show with the celebration as well. Our events are not really formal. They are just as our mission is for guests to feel that they can be themselves in the space, that they can celebrate the mission, and that they can party all night.
High Rock Tower is a symbol of Lynn. You can see it from several places in the city, and it's often featured on postcards and flyers. But have you gone up to see the tower and the telescope on top? Summer is the perfect opportunity, and in that spirit, we had Dr. Josh Judkins, a volunteer astronomer, back on the Lowdown to discuss what you will be able to see in the night sky over the next few months. Good morning and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and today we welcome back on Dr. Josh Judkins to speak about High Rock Tower and all we can see in the sky. Thanks so much for coming back on.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So in the past we've spoken a lot about the tower itself, the history, the telescope, which is amazing by the way, but this time we are a little bit more focused on actually what you can see in the sky, how astronomy works. So I'll start off with asking, how did you yourself get interested in astronomy?
Sure. So when I was very little, like say about 8th grade or so, I got my first telescope as a Christmas gift. And I fiddled around with it, and I had a really influential 8th grade science teacher who helped cultivate that interest. And then I kind of fell out of use with it, and then flash forward like a decade basically, or more than that actually. I was in grad school, walking home very late nights from the lab, and I went to Cornell in upstate New York. It was kind of a dark campus, and so looking up I could see the Milky Way walking home.
Wow.
And I was watching, I'm studying very small microscopic things and really sort of thinking downward and inward, and then on the walk home looking up, and then in my spare time watching, documentaries on like how the universe works and space stuff in general. And I literally one day had this epiphany. I used to have a telescope when I was a kid. I could just get a telescope. And so I went on eBay and bought an $83 telescope. And very quickly, about a couple weeks later, I bought the next telescope because I needed something a little bit bigger. And that sort of begun the journey of anytime I had spare moments, I would go out to a dark site or go to a roof somewhere and start to learn the sky. I'd print off like a star chart, and I'd go and see how many objects I could find in that area. And I was fortunate at Cornell, history of astronomy there with Carl Sagan, having been a professor there. I met some wonderful folks in Cornell astronomy that sort of taught me how to use some of the instruments that Cornell had on campus, which got me even more exposure to learning the night sky, learning some of the more advanced instruments, because the usual amateur ones at home that you have, especially if they're not computerized, are just manual, so using your eyes to find objects in the sky.
Which is obviously a lot trickier. So I think that's something, maybe. And you even spoke about some people think that there's more barriers, or they wonder how can they get into it themselves. So it's really nice to hear you can go, if you're really interested, go see if you can get a telescope, or just get involved in any way you can.
Absolutely, and that's the thing is, one, like your eyes, literally there's so many things you can look up, and I think there's a lot of joy in just seeing what constellations you can pick out. If you're in the city, what can you see with light pollution? And then if you find yourself going out of the city on the weekends or on any other kind of trip, how does the sky look where you are there? And seeing just what you can see with your eyes. Of course, there's really bright objects you can see with your eyes. There are some deep sky objects, which like are nebulas, globular clusters, things like that. There actually are naked eye objects when you're in a darker sky. And then a lot of people might have like a pair of binoculars laying around. Even the new phones that you have, you can take a picture, like the newer ones will do like a 3-second exposure and integrate that. And then often that will pull out a few more things that you can't see. And we could speak to other ways people can learn about the sky, but I think just to sort of start to scratch at the surface of that, being open to using your phone, binoculars, and just your eyes is a nice way to start looking up. The first step is to look up.
Yeah, first step, quite literally.
Literally.
Look up. And now another way people can do it is by going to High Rock Tower. You've restarted your Starry Nights program. And what can people currently see in the sky? Because it does change depending on elements I'm unfamiliar with. Yeah. So you could take this one.
Sure, yeah. The Earth is at a tilt, so that gives us our seasons as we go around the sun. And part of that, we're at an angle and we're going around the sun, and so we see different parts of the sky. In the northern hemisphere, of course, the whole sky rotates around Polaris, and so we have some things that we always see. They might be in different positions, like upside down or left, right, or up, down. Anyway, they change throughout the seasons, and we always see them. And then there's other things that because they're lower down to the horizon, they might be only a summer thing that we see, or they might be only a winter thing that we see. So right now, what we're seeing in the sky is, if I were put into an induced coma and woken up and put out at night right now and had no idea what day it was, no idea what time of year it was, and I just looked up, I could tell you it's spring. Because the winter sky is setting right around sunset. You can see the typical winter constellations like Orion, like Taurus. They're going to be faced towards the area of the sky after the sun sets. So the sun, for those that don't know, rises in the east and sets in the west. In fact, everything in the sky rises in the east and sets in the west. And so right now you'll see Orion, which is, you just can't miss it. The 3 stars in a row, and there's 4 other stars around it. That's starting to set, and then you have the more summery stuff starting to rise. So we're in a bit of a transition now, but it's still a great time to see the Orion Nebula, the Pleiades, some of the bright stars there. Even Jupiter and Mars are still quite visible. So that's another one that we'll continue to look at, and of course the moon, always visible. And then as we go into the summer, we'll get to look at things like the Hercules Globular Cluster, like the Ring Nebula. So those bring some joy as well.
Mm-hmm. And you were even speaking about it too. So, you're mentioning so many different constellations. Some I'm familiar with, some I'm not. But for anyone who maybe wanted to learn a little bit more about that, like you said, maybe see daily what is in the sky. What were some of the resources that you were referencing earlier?
So something that is like my homepage when I open up my web browser is APOD, which is Astronomy Picture of the Day. So that's apod.nasa.gov, and it's a new picture every single day. Sometimes it's just like a landscape photo that's showing some unique atmospheric phenomenon, like ice crystals that are causing really fun, like rainbow shapes or things like that in the sky. Or it might be a picture from the James Webb Space Telescope or a Hubble picture, a bunch of different stuff like that. So daily you can look at those images, and then there's a little short description that gives you some more information about it. So that can help you start to learn about the sky. But for the weekly, daily kind of stuff, a really wonderful site that I like that is done by Sky and Telescope magazine. Sorry, not enough caffeine yet. So the Sky and Telescope magazine, they publish a periodical which costs money, but what is free is their webpage that's Sky at a Glance. So they do it in week segments, and so if you just Google Sky at a Glance, you'll find that probably the first link will be that. And it will show you, if you click on the link for that date range, that week, it'll show you each day what to look at and have these really nice little pictures of the sky, like looking east, looking west, looking north. And it'll show you interesting, sometimes stars and the planets will make interesting shapes, like, oh, this is a triangle, or oh, this is some other kind of interesting shape in the sky. And it'll help you start to learn what's in the sky. It'll give you a heads up, for example, if there's going to be interesting planet conjunctions where planets are close together. It'll give you a heads up if there's going to be something fun like an eclipse or a meteor shower. And so if you start looking at that every week and then practicing going out and seeing what you can find, you'll definitely start to learn what's in the sky.
Because we've even had a few of those, larger events, as you said. I remember we had an eclipse a few months ago, so we were all going out with the glasses. Mm-hmm. Even I think meteor shower was not too long ago too, which, those are some big, sometimes more exciting ones that people can be like, oh, this is really cool that I get to witness this, because they don't happen that much.
Indeed, and actually people often come to High Rock Tower and say, oh, did you catch the aurora here? Or, oh, did you catch the meteor shower? And actually, I don't go to the tower for those events. Like, those events are best seen just with your eyeballs. Like, because it's hard to, like, when you look through a telescope, you're looking at a very small section of the sky. And so it's better to go where you have an unobstructed view and you can catch, like, the meteors. And coming up this summer, it's sort of late summer, so we have a couple months still. The most charismatic meteor showers every year are the Geminids, which are in December, and the Perseids, which are in August. Perseids are known for their fireballs. So that one's a good one. There's always meteor showers happening, essentially. So we have the Aquariids coming up. I think the Lyrids are coming up. And so basically any night that you're out under the sky, like, take a few moments and look up. Good chance you'll see a shooting star.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, quite literally just looking up, observing, seeing what we can see. And I will circle back for a moment to the Starry Nights. They happen once a month on Wednesdays. They are a little weather dependent because obviously if it's raining or cloudy, you're not really going to see much. But they are free, open to the public, so anyone can sign up if they are interested.
Exactly. Yep. There's the webpage that you can sign up. It's just a simple Google form. You don't have to sign up to come, but we highly recommend it so we know how many people are coming, and also for any last-minute changes due to weather or other kind of issues. We do 3 dates at a time, so sometimes people think that we only are open those 3 dates and that's it, but no, it's just we do 3 dates at a time, so it's not this huge list when you go in there. So yeah, we have all those up there, and we will try in the summer, because it's nicer weather, to do it like twice a month instead of once a month, but again, weather dependent.
Yeah, and then as the sun starts setting later, you would have to go up a little bit on the later side too, as opposed to in the winter, it gets dark at 4 o'clock, summer, you're waiting until probably 8 o'clock.
Exactly. So that's the nice thing about winter, even though winter's colder, is that usually it's more amenable to like folks with younger children that want to come up, because it's better for the bedtime. So in the summertime, I mean, sometimes it's not dark until like 9:30. So it's a late evening, but it's worth it.
I know I've been to a couple of these, both filming and also just for fun, and they're always awesome. And I know I have to wrap up in a moment, but was there anything else that I hadn't touched upon that you wanted to make sure you mentioned?
Oh, sure. So when it comes to like learning more about the night sky and looking up, I know that was a theme of our conversation today. There's also some apps that are really nice, and one that I use a lot is called Stellarium, like Stellar EM, Stellarium. And it's free, you can put in your location, and it's very nice to sort of, you can toggle on the constellations, you can toggle on satellites, you can look at, you can search for different things and set your location, date and time, all that kind of stuff to see what's in the sky. And there's a few more too, like there's the NASA app, the Skyview, Skywalk apps. And if you're like a YouTube person, or if you just want some other like free resources to learn, there's some really nice YouTube channels that I like. One's called Astrum, really nice production there. And then also, if you want to get really nitty gritty into like the latest astronomy kind of publications and like more academic kind of science, way over my head, if I'm honest, but it's fun to like tickle the brain, is Dr. Becky. I just recommend taking a look at her on YouTube, and if you're on like Instagram or Facebook, you can certainly find other influencers that talk about the latest space news as well.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, I said, you've definitely given me and our audience so much to think about. Thank you for coming on to share all those resources and all the amazing things that are always right above our heads.
Anytime. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, anytime. And once again, I'm Dani Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we will see you next week with more guests. In baseball, the Rams continued their pattern of coming from behind for the win. Over the weekend, they came back from 2 down for an 11-4 victory over Saugus. Roki Bree and Mark Walsh split pitching duties on the mound, supported by multi-hit games from Emerson Lara and Christian Figueroa. Glasgow secured their spot in the postseason with their 10th victory of the season, 6-2 over Malden. Figueroa had a complete game, 5-strikeout day. Roki Bree went 2 for 4 with an RBI and 3 stolen bases, while Lara contributed an additional 2 hits and an RBI. In similar fashion, the Spartans are on a roll, picking up their 13th and 14th wins. First in dominant fashion, 12-0 over Bishop Fenwick. Shea Newhall picked up his second win in 3 days against Fenwick, while Kyle Dani got it done offensively, going 3 for 3 with 4 RBIs. Next up, it was a 3-1 final over Bishop Stang, as the Spartans remained undefeated in the Catholic Central League. Josh Dani went the distance, allowing 6 hits while also striking out half a dozen. Rowan Merriweather and Micah Hashwa did the scoring for St. Mary's. But the highlight of the week was Lynn English's ace, Engel Thomas, tossing a no-hitter in the Bulldogs' 1-0 victory over Everett on the 7th. Thomas allowed just 1 walk to go with 5 strikeouts, while Jarrell Benzin collected the lone RBI. Lynn Tech made it a perfect 4 for 4 for city teams, tripling up on Neshoba Tech 6-2. Christopher Boyd earned the win on the mound, and Eddie Lewis Jr. picked up the save. In softball, a classic matchup saw the Spartans hang on for a 2-1 victory against Bishop Fenwick over the weekends. Eliza Crane Oviedo was dominant for St. Mary's, posting a complete game 10-strikeout performance. Riley Williams and Abby Sosa collected the 2 RBIs for the hosts. Coming from behind was a theme in all sports this week. The 11-2 Tigers came back to beat Salem Academy 3-2 on the 6th. Tech started a little slow, but they found their rhythm to force a 5th set, which they won 15-3. Elmer Duran was the front runner, registering 32 assists, 9 digs, 5 aces, and 3 kills. Delaire Jacques Jr. and Jaden Tran combined for an additional 21 kills, 11 digs, 5 aces, and 4 blocks, while 4 other Tigers also registered multi-hit games. After an up-and-down week, Classical bounced back, sweeping Everett 3-0 on the 5th. The Rams won all 3 by a score of 25-18. For Kinzel Lantano, who recorded his 1,000th career assist last week, this only elevated his game. Against Everett, he posted 25 assists, 2 kills, 2 blocks, 2 aces, and 2 digs. For being the defending champions, the Celtics are not playing like it. They lost double-digit leads, falling 0-2 to the New York Knicks in the conference semifinals. Baseball is not much better, as the Red Sox are staying firmly around the 500 mark. In their most recent series with the Texas Rangers, Boston dropped the first game 6-1, before rebounding with a 6-4 and 5-0 wins. In their first victory, Alex Bregman recorded his 200th career home run, before registering the game-winning RBI off a single in the 7th. Rafael Devers launched one over the Monster in a 5-0 shutout. If you're looking for additional ways to get involved into the community, this is the lowdown for you. Leighton O'Connor of Good Hope Inc. was our guest, and he discussed their upcoming 5K, raising money to build a new well in Africa. The race is next month, so here is more of what he had to say. Good morning and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and today we welcome on Good Hope Inc. and Leighton O'Connor to speak about an upcoming event for them. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Dani.
Of course. Now, you were mentioning so many different nonprofits, events that you were related to, but you're here specifically to talk about Good Hope. I personally was not as familiar with this organization, so would you be able to speak a bit about it, your mission, how you started?
Sure. Good Hope Inc. is the nonprofit of Calvary Christian Church in Linfield. We created it around 2014. It started off as just a place where people get clothing. Then we added food to it, and now it's a full-blown food pantry in which we literally give out a ton of food every month. 2 Thursdays of every month, and literally hundreds and hundreds of people come for the food. But we also have another program where we dig wells in Africa, and we've dug 11 wells in Africa so far because of 9 races. Excuse me. This is our 9th race coming up on June 7th. And we also have a program that helps the homeless, which I'm involved as well.
So you basically just do everything. You started with one and then kept going, which is very, very impressive. And I know you just mentioned that you have the race coming up. It's in June, which is what you're on here to talk about, your 9th annual running and walking 5K. Can you give a little bit about, where it's happening?
So it's happening in Nahant, right on Nahant Road, across the street from the life-saving station on June 7th. The race kicks off at 9 a.m., and it's also for walkers as well. It's also kind of a family fun day. Yeah. We have live music, free lunch, face painting, popcorn, cotton candy, and games for the kids. So it's kind of a celebration as well, not only fundraising for the 5K. And we'll have a silent auction too.
So it's both. So any families can come, just do it. And you also have, I believe you said a free dash for any kids under 10 years old.
100-yard dash for kids.
Great. So they can just go and do it.
And lots of people get trophies.
There you go.
Yeah. And cash prizes for the top winners.
So all kinds of incentives. You get trophies, you get money, here you go. But of course, you said you're fundraising. What does all the money go towards for this specific fundraiser?
So this one goes towards a well we hope to fund in northern Uganda.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've dug wells in Kenya, Tanzania, Morocco, and a few other countries. I've gotten the pleasure to be able to visit some of these wells a couple times. Our first well was dug in Miles Bridge, Kenya, which I visited back in 2016, and just visited it again in 2023. And it's amazing how these wells change the community, because these people have to walk, 3-4 miles with these heavy jerry cans of water to get clean water or to get water at all. So when you build a well, crops can, exist, livestock. Often these wells are dug around schools, so they're around schools and villages. Yeah. And it just changes the community totally.
Yeah, we even have a couple of pictures that we put up too of it looked like one of the wells you built. I'm not sure where that one was, but
yeah. So it's just a blessing. It's clean water for people.
Yeah, I mean, living here, we don't think about that as much because we are so fortunate to just have access to water.
Yeah, just turn on a faucet. There it is.
Yeah, you don't really have to think about walking miles to get it.
Yeah.
And I will ask, how did you specifically get involved in this organization?
So I'm a pastor at Calvary Christian Church, and one of my fellow pastors is from Kenya.
Okay.
And he lived in Kenya with his family, and they had problems getting water. So he came over this country, became a pastor at Calvary, and he was doing a 5K. I happened to be a runner at the time. I said, I'll help out with this 5K back in 2015, and that's what it's grown into.
And now 10 years later, you're going, I'm still here.
I'm still here. Yeah, I've left a few times on some very large mission trips to help the homeless for my own nonprofits, but yeah, here I am.
And for the race itself, how much does it cost to sign up to be a participant? And then you also mentioned there's sponsors, you can donate to the silent auction. There's multiple ways you can contribute.
So it's $35 to sign up. It was $30 yesterday, but our early bird special ended, and it's $125 for a family. So the $35 gets you the free lunch, gets you the T-shirt, a races goodie bag, and just a whole lot of fun during the day.
Oh wow, that's a good deal.
Yeah,
I love that. And I said the silent auction too. You're still collecting items, giveaways, anything like that.
All kinds of different things. We have a cruise, private cruise for 4 people on Beverly Harbor. We have a gift card from Tides. We have various gift baskets. We have free harmonica lessons is a silent auction item. A lot of great things.
Yeah, you got some big ticket items. Those would be. I would take any of those.
Come on by and join up for the silent auction.
Maybe I just will. And I know we were speaking about a little and saying, there's using to fund the wells. You're saying how important that is, but what would you want people to really understand about that? Because us being from here, we don't really think as much about maybe access to water, access to food, and.
Well, imagine if you went to your kitchen, you turn on the water faucet, there's no water. Then you walked outside and said, where can I get water? Well, I'm going to have to grab some jerry cans. I'm going to have to walk 3 to 4 miles to get my water. I'm going to have to carry them 2 back, and it's not really healthy water because you're sharing this water with livestock. Imagine having to do that. And it's tough to imagine. I've been to these countries. I've seen how poor people are. And we're very, very, very blessed in this country. So why not share our blessings with others?
Which you definitely do. So with all these trips, with all the involvement that you get, and I said you were even talking about, and I'm curious, you started with, you said the clothes, then it moved to the food pantry, and then it got bigger. How did each step happen? It just kept getting bigger and bigger, and you just kept getting more ideas?
Well, I think people who are part of Good Hope says, well, let's help the homeless too.
Yeah.
Let's help people learn a second language. Let's help people get clean water. So just, people have certain passions in their heart, certain burdens in their heart, and they want to add the programs. We also have a prison ministry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you just keep adding on.
Yeah.
And are you involved in all those different programs, or are you more specifically involved in the wells?
I'm involved in the food pantry. Once in a while I'll swing by and help out. I'm also the secretary on the board and very involved in the homeless program, which we've been doing for years. And it combines the Good Hope Homeless Program with my nonprofit, Mission for Hope, and we've been helping the homeless across North America since 2018, providing things.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, really great.
So I've driven my Jeep all the way to Anchorage and Fairbanks a couple times, meet people in those cities. They have their Jeeps filled up with stuff, and we give it out to homeless, like blankets and hygiene kits and shoes and clothing and food.
And the Jeep part is a little funny. I know you mentioned that too. You're all just in the Jeeps.
So I bought a Jeep in 2018, and it turned into a whole ministry. I'm the founder of the Christian Jeep Association, and we have 43 chapters around the world, and the people love Jeeps and Jesus and use their Jeeps to help the poor and share the gospel.
I love that. I love that theme. It's easy to remember, too.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I know we're talking about all these different nonprofits, whatever. Anyone who wants to get more involved, whether with the race or even just in general, how would they go about doing that?
So I hope I didn't confuse you with all my nonprofits. But if they go to goodhopeinc.org and click on the 5K page, they'll be able to register, submit a silent auction donation, sponsorship, and everything's right there. Register right online.
And can you sign up the day of the race, or do you have to do it in advance?
You can do it the morning of. We're not going to turn anybody away. Yeah.
And you already have a good sign. You said you already have with 80 people signed up.
Right, 80 people signed up, and a month away, that's a really, really good number to have a month away. And we've got all kinds of promotions planned between billboards and going to other races and sharing our postcards and a lot of social media.
Is there a specific goal you have in mind, whether that's how many people, monetary, any other?
Well, we'd like to raise 10 grand after expenses.
Okay.
So we're talking about raising about 15 grand, because the well's going to cost 10. Yeah.
My next question is how much do wells cost? They're expensive.
It depends on what country and how close the drill company is to the area you want to dig the well. For instance, when we dug a well in Morocco, it was all hand dug. But in Kenya, you got to go down 150, 175 feet, which can get expensive. And depending on how far away the drill company has to travel. And a survey has to be done as well to make sure there's water there.
Make sure there's water, make sure you're not hitting anything you're not supposed to. Right. And you said this one's going to be in Uganda, yes?
Northern Uganda, yes.
Will you have to drill there, or is that hand dug? Do you know?
Definitely drill, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
not as far as Kenya, though.
Not the 100, okay.
Right.
So
Tanzania, you have to drill deep, too.
Oh, wow.
Into those wells as well.
Because the water's just deeper. It's
Right.
just where the water runs.
Right.
And you already know where you're going to be digging this well?
Yeah, we have a location already.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I think it's called a Lear. Yeah.
So people know when they're coming in, they get to see, this is what I'm going to be donating to, this is what I'm going to be helping.
We already have photos of the water source they're using now in this particular village, and it's horrible. Yeah.
So you really get to see the impact that you're having. And I said this all sounds amazing, fantastic, and I know I've brought up in a moment, but was there anything else that I hadn't mentioned that you wanted to make sure you put in there?
No, just show up at the race, June 7th, Nahant Road, across the street from the life-saving station. All the activities will be at the life-saving station.
Well, awesome. Great. You nailed it. And I want to thank you again so much for coming on to talk about this amazing organization, this event you have coming up, and I'm really excited to see how it goes.
Thanks, Dani. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anytime. And once again, I'm Dani Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. Do you want to learn more about the proposed project along Route 107 or Western Ave? MassDOT will be holding a virtual meeting from 6 to 7 p.m. on May 14th to present a design for the project and hear comments from the public. The main purpose of this meeting is to familiarize the public with this proposed project and give them a chance to provide feedback. The proposed project includes improvements for pedestrians, cyclists, and vehicle safety along the 2-mile stretch between the Federal Street Rotary and the Linton Road intersection. 15 traffic signals would be installed or upgraded as part of the plan. Additional signal upgrades will include Boston Street at Franklin Street, Boston Street at Washington Street, Chestnut Street at Maple Street, and Watt Ave at Eastern Ave. The link can be accessed via the MassDOT website. Lynn Public Schools Coordinated Family, in collaboration with the Community Engagement Program, is proud to present the 2025 Early Childhood Literacy Night, taking place on Thursday, May 15th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the LVTI Annex Building. This event is free for families with children aged birth to 6 years old. They will offer a wide range of activities, from free books, parenting classes, community resources, library cards, music raffles, and much more. This program is funded by a CFCE grant from the Department of Early Education and Care. Finally, join the Floating Bridge Pond Association for their first annual Spring Fest on May 17th. Running from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the intersection of Linton and Western Ave, come for a fun, educational morning. There will be music, drinks, food, and an arts table for kids. Additionally, families can learn more about the ecosystem habitat, pond wildlife, and hear the history of Buchanan Bridge. Take the last boat home because this is the end of these stories. As we fully enter summer, events are becoming more plentiful, so stay up to date on all the latest happenings by following @Lynn Community TV on social media. For press releases, our complete community calendar, and how to become a member yourself, head to our website, lyntv.org. If videos are your main interest, then Lynn Community Television on YouTube is the place for you. I'm Dani Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.